Game number 2 is going to be getting underway. Can he put together the same kind of combos this game, or is Powder going to turn up the heat a little bit? Well, we're going to find out because these players are ready to get into it. Game number 2 between Ek0p and Powder is getting underway right now. Ek0p looking to take a 2-0 lead. Powder wants to tie it up.
Yeah, I think this is another huge game for Ek0p here, and I love seeing him queue up Warlock here. Yet again, Powder queuing up something he's getting kind of a little known for in a combo deck.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue is something that is, used to be really bad versus Warlock, I would say. Didn't have quite the same number of tools to fight against it. But when you added in the fact that they have more ways to create a bigger weapon now, the Blade Flurries get so dangerous against the deck that it kind of wants to wait to that mid-game spot to start building its board position. But Ek0p's actually swapped this up to what looks like a handlock deck.
Yeah, this does look like a handlock deck. And like what you're saying with Powder and the Rogue deck, Tinker Sharpsword Oil, that card is very scary.
Yeah, it's not the card that Ek0p wants to be seeing this game. Well, I guess, he's not going to mind the Tinker Sharpsword Oil. He's more so going to mind the Blade Flurry. But we've already got one piece of this combo in Powder's hand right now. We'll have to see if he picks up the second one. At this point, he's going to start life tapping. Got a Zombie Chow out. Is going to help contest some of these board positions, but he would love to add a Mortal Coil to his hand. Yeah,
he needs to add a Mortal Coil so it can trade up against stuff like Piloted Shredder and Earthen Ring Farseer, because as we know, when you're a Rogue player or you're playing against Rogue, if you let a minion sit on the board for too long, they can easily win from there. Great addition to Ek0p's hand there in Emperor Thor's.
He's going to keep life tapping. Big Game Hunter not going to be too useful this game. And so now that he hasn't found a 4-drop, he's got one last draw to really get one. He's got the 2 Mountain Giants. We assume he's got 2 Mountain Giants and 2 Twilight Drakes in his deck. If he doesn't find those, he might be in a little bit of trouble. But this turn, he does get another life tap and a Dark Bomb if he wants to add with it. So still plenty of time to find what he needs.
Yeah, great options. He can life tap and Dark Bomb his turn, get some more damage. And he can even be very aggressive, a Defender of Argus if he wants this turn. But, he does forego a life tap if he does that. So I got to believe he's not going to.
Ooh, Acidic Swampu's added, yeah. This is a great addition, I think, to this deck, too. A nice call from Ek0p.
You're starting to see this, crop up a lot with handlock players lately.
Yeah, it's starting to crop up with just a lot of players in general, too. I mean, the more and more that players tend to use weapons, the more that you're going to find that weapon removal can be very useful against them. But Powder going to have a wonderful answer to this board position right now. The fact he's going to punish Ek0p for not having one of those big 4-drops straight away. And now Ek0p, you can even see it in his face. He's nervous about this Violet Teacher right now because he has no way to handle this much more pressure.
Yeah, no AoE effect going forward from here. This Violet Teacher might run away with this game here.
Yeah, and Sludge Belcher, I believe, is going to end up being his play. But again, got to be uncomfortable about what's happening right now. If he finds a sap out of Powder's hand, this game could just spiral out of control.
Yeah, if Powder top decks a sap here, you're going to see him go absolutely crazy over the next turn or two.
Deadly Poison's not too bad either, and that's gonna trigger a thought from him. But with Blade Flurry sitting in his hand, I have to think he's gonna take this one a little bit slower than he normally would.
Yeah, I mean, he's not being pressured yet from Ek0p, and Ek0p did not answer the Violet Teacher right away. Yeah. He didn't answer his entire board, so you have to believe the contexture of Ek0p's hand going forward here, so you can afford to play this a little bit slower and really get him, later.
Ek0p got to play Emperor Thor's on this turn. There's no waiting involved. I mean, you're down to 24. You're facing down 7 points of damage on board. This is really the last turn he can play without some sort of defensive measure to really get things done.
Yeah, you're going to see Powder really turn up the heat here this turn.
I think this is the turn to just go for it. I think you just move all in.
Yeah, frankly. You're going to see him dagger up, most likely prep into a Tinker Sharpsword Oil and a Deadly Poison.
Now, the big problem with that is if the Sharpsword Oil lands on one of the 1/1s instead of landing on either the Piloted Shredder or the Violet Teacher. So I think there's a small chance he goes against that game plan. But with this hand, what else do you do? I mean, I think Preparation Sprint, the Sprint really changed everything in his hand. I mean, I think Prep Sprint is still totally okay. If you don't find a sap, you get to dagger up. If you do find a sap, you're looking in good position.
Yeah, drawing the Sprint changed his hand's contexture just gigantically this turn. I mean, otherwise he was going to be forced to move in extremely quickly, but he did pick up an Eviscerate here if he wants to help, pick off his Emperor Thor's on it, or just push for a ton of damage.
Yeah, I think pushing here and sapping is about your best play. If Ek0p wants to replay the Emperor Thor's on, I think you're totally fine with that right now.
Yeah, you're completely fine utilizing his mana in that way because your board is so oppressive going forward from here. You know that he didn't have an AoE effect, and you just hope that he still doesn't have another one.
Yeah, no Shadow Flame, no Hellfire for Ek0p, and frankly, no real way to defend against this kind of board. He's going to get Blade Flurried this next turn, and that's going to do it.
Yeah, this Defender of Argus is not going to be able to put up enough defense to fight off this Blade Flurry.
Yep. Oh, he actually doesn't have a dagger up, so this, that's a big talking point actually. If he had a dagger up, this would be different. I just assumed he did for some reason. He doesn't have one right now, so this is an opportunity at least to get back in this game.
He's going to just talk to the prep though. Just make it easy.
Sometimes you just know they're going to draw the exact card they need. Well, Ek0p doesn't know that yet.
I wonder.
Defensive play really his only one. Acidic Swamp is unable to be used so far this game. This has been stranded in his hand for quite a while. You know, weapon destruction doesn't always work out the way that you planned it to.
Yeah, a lot of times it's hard to use weapon destruction very well against the rogue deck because the turn they're going to get you is the turn they use the Tinker Sharp's Oil, attack, and then Blade Flurry after that, you know, completely taking away that play from you.
I'm even going to Iron Beak Owl here instead of life tapping. Needs to find the right answers, but, you know, he needs to get some sort of pressure on the board and hope that it works out for him. And Powder, you know, thankfully for Ek0p, does not have all the right tools to make it happen this game. It looks like if he Blade Flurry this turn, wouldn't be quite enough. 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks to me like he's got about 13 damage this turn. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like I'm totally right. Now, this is going to be Blade Flurry. I'm going to use tokens to clear out this board position and just keep heavy pressure. I can't blame him for this whatsoever.
Yeah, he can even use this Eviscerate if he wanted to get really aggressive and move the minion out of the way, but he's just going to take care of some of these tokens because they have a shorter shelf life than this Eviscerate. You know, any AoE effect's going to take care of all of them.
Yeah, Eviscerate can always be pointed at the dome. The 1/1s cannot always be pointed
He's
at the
actually
dome.
thinking about doing it now since, you know, there's a very good chance he has to dagger up and use Tinker Sharp's Oil next turn as well.
Yeah, I don't mind the Eviscerate now. I don't mind holding it either.
Yeah, it doesn't change the math on Molten Giant.
Yeah, you do get an extra 1/1, so I love that he's using it right now. Yeah, that's a big point too. It doesn't change the math on Molten Giant at all. And now that Ek0p, oh wow, that was an interesting draw from him, but I don't think it's going to be enough because he's actually got to heal himself this turn as well. So if he uses anti-heal bot, he'll bring himself up to 11. He'll be able to Sunfury Protector both of them, and then you're seeing a 4-point Blade Flurry from Powder. Could run through. It's going to put Ek0p down to 7, and I think maybe he lives at 1 right here. No, he just takes 8 and runs through it. That's exactly what he does. Yeah, I mean, he's going to try his best to try to live through the scenario, but it's just not going to be in the cards today.
And you're seeing this Acidic Swamp Ooze in his hand the entire game and never even really has a chance to pick off a dagger from Powder here.
Yeah, Powder's done a pretty excellent job at his weapon control this game, frankly, using them very aggressively, you know, borderline recklessly at times, and Ek0p continuing to struggle through this position. If he plays the Sludge Belcher, obviously Sap is something he's worried about a little bit, but I think he's got to Sunfury Protector. Honestly, he might even have to life tap here as well, just to start trying to find the right answers.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if he does actually life tap this turn, if he plays the Sunfury Protector or not, or if he just goes in the super defensive mode.
Because if he just plays defensive the entire time, he's actually got to put together the right cards to win.
I expected him to play Big Game Hunter here just to get another threat.
He can't play Big Game Hunter here because he's got his Molten
Giant. Oh, yeah, he did target his own Molten Giant. If he'd done it first, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not going to be enough at the end. Powder had all the answers in the world to fight against this position, and this this Tinker Sharp's Oil, this was one of the nightmare cards that Ek0p was hoping to not face. And when he sees that as the lead play for this turn, he's got to know he's done in for it, and he certainly is. Powder going to take this game and tie this series up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, Ek0p going forward, though, still in this match, still looking good. Just got, you know, a little bit of a rough matchup here. Never had the AoE effect he really, really needed to take care of Powder's board.